my name is Emily. I'm the Crazy Flippin' Mom. Welcome back to my channel. I am prepping today and I thought I would bring you along. I have my poly bags here. I'm a mess. Actually, I'll show you my poly bag system. It's not great. If you have ideas how I should organize this, I would love to hear it. So I'm pretty low from Q4, but this is the gist. Like, the shipping bags are here. I really like these poly bags. They're from Uline, I think. And then the clear ones that I'm using today here, I have all the sizes, but you can see I'm really low. So I have to go through this box because I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of sizes in here I need. So this is a good call to, wait, do I have bags down here? I found more bags. I found more. This is a good call to get all your clearance out, get your stuff out, and get your clearance out, get your work out, and let's prep together. I love my community, CrazyFlippinMom community, because we prep a lot together in a group, and it makes you feel less alone. So I hope that this call today, it's cold here, it's like 4 degrees. I'm in my basement working, and I think that's also why I think these bags will work well. I think that's why I've been avoiding doing this, because it's cold down here and I have a fire upstairs. This is a good size. And I just want to sit by the fire and read, honestly. But we can't all have what we want. So instead, I'm going to prep some clothes. I'm going to talk about selling on Amazon, how I got started, and more about how I use SellerAmp. So come along. When I started selling on Amazon, I did not have a community. I didn't have very many people to like bounce ideas off of. And I really wanted to focus on merchant because I had tried FBA and failed, like hardcore failed. And when I came back to Amazon, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not just sending out product. And I really, really wanted to be successful. And so my big issue before was that I would just get a box, push everything in the box, and then like fingers crossed it sold. And I had no idea how to sell on Amazon, the numbers. I had no idea, like, some things I shouldn't send in, that I need documentation for every product I sell. Some receipts you shouldn't like buy from a place like Goodwill or Liquidation to try to sell on Amazon, because you cannot prove that that's new. So I didn't know any of that. I was just throwing it in a box, hoping for the best. And surprise, surprise, I failed. And I think that's something I learned with Amazon. It's like, the effort you put in is the reward you get back. And if you really don't take time to apply yourself to the foundation part of it, like bookkeeping and creating a process around research and understanding the numbers and keep charts, you can really mess up quickly. I hope this style of chatting and working works for you. I think some people get on here and think I'm going to be like super teachy, and I tend to ramble and just talk like if you were here. And maybe that's not your style. This is probably not going to be your vibe. That's okay. When I came back to Amazon, because I saw the potential and I saw people winning, but especially this was like 7 years ago, nobody was sharing online. All the information you could find was definitely behind a course. And even then, people were very leery. It was super protected. Like, I totally get it, because it was really good money and they didn't want everybody to find it. So I'm just saying, it was harder to find people willing to share. Like, what are you selling? What am I supposed to be doing? How do I get started? And there was even less people talking about merchant. Merchant fulfillment is when you sell the product yourself from your house, your office, wherever, and you send it straight to the customer. So it was primarily FBA because it was hard to win the buy box as a merchant seller. FBA had so much preferential treatment because they had the prime seller badge, and just the buy box never preferred a merchant seller at that point. Like, it was rare, right? So, and maybe too, like, I just don't understand fully how to merchant fulfill on Amazon. But when I came back to Amazon, I thought the best way for me to do this without spending a lot of money and losing a lot of money is to merchant fulfill. Find a product at Walmart, list it on Amazon, and if it sells, go get more. And then start to understand why that listing sold and what made it a good listing. And then also break down after I sold it with the shipping fees and taxes, like how much did I actually make? So that is what I did. And people at that, I remember when I have always been sharing on social media, and everyone was like, I don't think that's a thing you can do and make money on Amazon. Like, everyone was skeptical, and I don't blame them. I mean, I was just remember like determined to make it work. And also that was right before shutdown. So it put me in a really lucrative position, because when shutdowns hit, Amazon was not taking in FBA shipments unless it was like critical products, like that people needed to survive. Otherwise you had to merchant fulfill. And so I came into that season like prepared. I would say kind of prepared. Like I understood as a merchant seller what I had to do. So I merchant fulfilled through that whole season. My husband left his day job to help me because there was so much. I remember my kitchen just looked like a shipping station. We moved out a bunch of shelves, and I moved out my pantry foods, and we moved in product, and my kitchen table was taken over by a printer and everything you would need to print. And when my kids would go to bed, I would set up and I would print like all night. And that's really how I started, and like making a lot of mistakes like everybody else, but jumping in. Like I found the niche that worked for me and I just went for it. I have absolutely no regrets. I liked merchant fulfilling. I came from like Poshmark and eBay full time, and so I understood like customer service and shipping anyways, and I've always enjoyed that. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people like, especially like you get into some circles on Amazon and it's all about scaling. You're like looking for a prep center and VAs to source the product for you, and you don't touch the product as much because you want to scale, and you don't have place at your you don't have a personal warehouse. So I get it. This is not for everybody, but also I think this conversation is important because not everybody has the funding and the budget to scale and go that route. A lot of people are looking at how can I make this work on a small budget and limited time, and that's where I think I come in. And when I started too, I mean, I have 4 kids. I didn't have an office, and I think at that time I had 3 kids in diapers. So budget was limited, and that's where I loved selling a product, starting to understand, and this is a thought process I had to grapple with, is before I failed on Amazon, I keep saying that, and I would just be like, well, I suck, and kind of move on. Well, that didn't sell. When I came back to it, I would start looking at why it sold or why it didn't sell. And that really took some time looking at my competition. And I'm going to show you in a second what I looked for. I'm going to show you on my computer screen in a second. But instead of just like writing off my successes, I wanted to be able to vocalize and tell you exactly how I won so I could duplicate that success. And yeah, I got really good at discovering and finding good leads. I could sell merchant, win the buy box, and sometimes it was just that Amazon had sold out, and so I had a couple days to dominate the buy box and sell my product. Sometimes I found a hot BOLO, and you see that now with like TikTok trends. It really does sell product at that point. If you can imagine, it was like sidewalk chalk. We were stuck at home. Sidewalk chalk was a huge flip. So Crayola. We were making bread. I sold just an enormous amount of yeast, flour, like all the things around bread you could imagine. And I got really good at discovering and identifying how to source for merchant leads. But it really took, instead of just like letting it happen and like throw it in a box and let's see if it sells, it really took me putting in the effort for years. And this is year 7 selling on Amazon for me. And even though I'm better at doing this, I'm better at finding products, I'm surrounded by products right now, I'm still learning. And I'm still in the same place of a limited time, limited budget. I still have 4 kids, and the price of groceries have only gone up. And so I'm like in no place have a prep center and VAs. It is me. My husband does help me when I need him from time to time, but I find the product, I prep the product, I ship the product, I deal with customer service. I do all of this side. And so I still am coming to the table with the same list of needs and expectations for Amazon that I did 7 years ago. Is how can I make the most out of this from my house on a small budget with limited time? And so this year I definitely have like picked a new lane. I always say, follow the money in my group, follow the money. You know, don't get married to an idea of selling, or you have to sell a certain product or a category. Even selling on Amazon, there are plenty of platforms to sell on. But I have done really, really well with clearance. And this year I'm going for it. And previously I was like more in the online arbitrage, I would say, route, having things shipped to my house. I didn't go into stores very often, or if I did, I had already ordered and I was just there to pick up. But in the past like 6, 7, 8 months, I have really discovered and enjoyed doing clearance. And so that is what I'm doing, following my heart on this. But still, same rules apply, because I understand what's selling. I can look at a listing and identify quickly based on the rank and the sellers and who's in the buy box, like, okay, this could be profitable. But because I also have SellerAmp on my phone, it is my secret reseller tool. Because if you see me in a store, I always have it out scanning the products just to get a good idea. I am buying the product pretty cheap on clearance, but still having SellerAmp available so I can scan the UPC, and it's gonna notify me of my fees, my net ROI, because in the back end of SellerAmp, I've included how much I want SellerAmp to add to the cost, like for placement fees and shipping and taxes. So when I am scanning UPC, I'm looking at what could be my potential net numbers. That's so helpful at like giving me the confidence to buy. But also, I've been doing this a while. Do I still make tons of bad purchases? Without question. Without question. I don't know I would trust anybody who said all they do is win. I don't think I would trust them. I would like to just only win, but that's like not possible in this space. Even though I come into this making like the best decision I can based on numbers that I see. Things change on Amazon, and I think 2024 was the year of change on Amazon. Like, they rolled out placement fees, so higher fees for Amazon sellers. A lot of FBA sellers were just deciding they're done with the when Amazon changed their fees. It put too much pressure on their business, and they moved over completely to Walmart. And I understand, but if you are merchant fulfilling, it did put you in a really great position, because you didn't feel that burden necessarily. Was there other burdens? Of course. We can talk about Amazon's catalog and how they're cracking down on misbranded and generic listings. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, because there are so many sellers abusing and misusing, creating bundles and listings and then coming after other sellers for being on their listings. So I get it, but the 2024 was like the year of, I think everything changed and we're just stepping back in. At least somebody for me who, I didn't have pallets there, I was merchant fulfilling, I could kind of like go slowly and figure out again, like, how is this going to work how is this going to benefit me? How is this going to work for my business? And I think at the end of the day, this should be, it's my hustle. It's not a side hustle, it's a full-time hustle, but like, how is this working for me? And that's probably my superpower, is that no matter what Amazon does and says, I can always find a silver lining. And I think there's plenty of opportunity to be made there, despite rumors that like retail arbitrage is dying. And it's hard. It's not ever been easy. It's not ever been something that in a weekend you can figure out and scale. You do get lucky. And I always joke that people start in Q4 selling, and it's easiest to sell on Amazon during Christmas time, which is just coming out of Christmas, because there's so many products you can flip for a profit. Everybody's online buying for Christmas, and between toys and clothes and shoes and everything, it's just easy. And a lot of new sellers jump into Q4 and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to come out with a course. I'm so good at this. Q4 ends and like all of the products you were selling are dead now. And you have to go back to the drawing board and figure out, what am I going to sell? So I think these couple months in here, we have Easter and Valentine's Day, but then you have summer months, and it can really make or break sellers. And I think the bottom line here is that you have to buckle down and create a process of sourcing. You cannot always rely on leads you're getting from a community, even my community, leads you're pulling from the softwares available. You are coming into this fresh, and you're coming out of Christmas time where you sold a bunch of stuff and now it's all dead product that you have to move on from. What should you do next? You need to create a schedule and a process around research and sourcing. This is not aimlessly walking around stores. This is fully sitting at a computer and making a plan. Like, how are you finding new products, new leads, new SKUs to add to your catalog? I would recommend 2 hours, 5 nights a week, where you sit at a computer, you pull up SellerAmp, and then you start looking at Kohl's, at Walmart, at Target, at local stores that you have. Find deals and opportunities and place orders, because the time for just randomly walking around stores is over. You want to source better, you want to source smarter, you want to save time, and all of that means sitting at a computer where you can make the best decision for your business. Okay, I have finished with the clothes I had here, and I'm going to switch to my computer so I can show you what I look at when I am sourcing and hopefully give you some tips.
Let's look at a listing live on Amazon, and I am in no way telling you to go out and run and pick this up and sell it, but I wanted to give you a frame of reference. So with SellerAmp, I have the app on my phone, so I can just open my SellerAmp app, scan the UPC, and the information that you see here in this box would pull up, so I can essentially see this on my phone. I feel like, though, when you're sitting at a computer, you don't feel the rush of being in a store when there's like people walking around you and you need to be quick and how much should you buy. I think you can make a lot better decisions sitting at home, and where you really are looking at the math. You can decide how much you want to invest in this product. Should you pick this listing? Should you do a 2-pack, a multi-pack? Like, what listing is the best? What's the potential for your profit? Red flags. And I really feel like that's more than a split-second decision in most cases. But saying that, I love that you have the option, if you do find a great deal, a clearance aisle hates to see me coming. Okay, but here we have SellerAmp open, and I can quickly put in my cost. You see the bestseller rank, we're at 978, which is amazing. 500 plus sales every month. All I have to do is include my cost. Now this is at $4.99 and Amazon is in the buy box. I would most likely not be making any money at this price, okay? So let's just get that out of the way quickly. But here is where we can come down and see Amazon is in the buy box. There really is not many sellers yet on this listing. Amazon shares the buy box probably, private label unlikely. Also, this is branded correctly. You can see visit the nerd store, and if you go down, you'll see it's branded correctly. So that's nice. But what we really have to do with seasonal is go and look back at last year. And what did it do last year? That's the best way to decide if there is potential for this product this year. But I want to caution you that just because a product did well last year does not mean it will have success again this year. Sometimes there's other things happening last year So maybe there was a TikTok trend that pushed this to be really profitable. Maybe there was a shortage last year, something like that. So before you just see, oh, this sold higher for last year, like let's just go in, huge potential not to be as successful another year in a row. But I do like to see what does it do year over year. And a lot of times you can go back even longer than just 1 year. You can see like the full history of a listing to see if it's like pretty steady year over year, or is usually like Amazon always in stock. They rarely run out. So that's something we can really sit down and look at. And then of course the profitability calculator here, and you can switch it from merchant to FBA, which I really, really like. I have on the back end, like I told you, of SellerAmp, I have it set up so my fees are included. So when I'm looking at a number, it's just not the cost of the product, it's also including my taxes and fees. But if you decide you do want to merchant fulfill this, if this price does come up to like maybe $17, let's look at it there. You have a lot more room for shipping on this product. It's probably under a pound, 9.8 ounces. So you probably have room to stick it in a box and ship it and still make some profit here. But you're still like, let's say if you could find 100 of these and sell them for $17, you have the potential to gross $945 after your shipping cost. I think I'm just looking just to make sure. Yeah, I would imagine shipping is not included. You could add that here, merchant cost, your ROI. And some people do like to look at these numbers before shipping, because shipping will not just be one price for each order. It really depends on your zone and where the product is going. So if it's obviously closer to you, you might end up paying less than if it's going clear across the country. And that will all factor into how much you will be charged for shipping labels. I just wanted to like give you a brief overview of SellerAmp and how it is so nice to have this on your Amazon desktop. Every time I search something on Amazon, this is there. And you can you have the Keepa charts here. You can look at the calculator, but this panel here just gives you a really quick overview. On my phone, like I said, I scan everything to see what is my potential profit. This would be a lot easier if you weren't doing merchant and you can just say, this is, I'm sending it in for to sell it for $17, and you could just do FBA, because then you're seeing like a pretty clean look at what you'll be making, an 83% return.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope it wasn't just all rambling. I hope you took away some encouragement and direction when you source this year. Above all, make a plan, write it down, and just jump. We will be there to help you along the way. Try SellerAmp out. I will put links below. Sign up for a free trial. You won't regret it. Download the app on your phone. Bye.